What's key is that with your credit reports, you want to ensure that there's no informational errors. So in this detailed video, I'm going to break down how I went from poor credit to over 100K. Now, this is before I knew anything about credit. So I'm going to walk you through the journey as though you're someone that has no clue. So the first thing I found was an old late payment on my credit report that was bringing down my credit. Now, it's important to know that in the UK, we all have 3 different credit reports. They're all independent, they don't consult with each other, and they're not all linked. So we have a credit report with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And upon doing research, I found that this old late payment that I had back in uni years ago was still on my credit report. But then I learned how to get it removed. There is something called a notice of correction that I added to my credit report. Now, the way that I did it was literally doing all that I know. There's a much better way to do it, which I'll talk about later on, but that's how I did it. So I added a notice of correction to my credit report, and that actually ended up getting the late payment removed. Once it came off, my credit drastically improved, and then I was confidently able to now go for multiple cards and be approved automatically. Now, the key thing with automated approvals is not absolutely guaranteed, but it's definitely more likely if you have excellent credit. Now, excellent credit isn't about having the best credit scores or the highest credit scores. With credit, what's important is your credit report. Credit scoring, a lot of it is just used to make money or to confuse you. What is key are having good credit reports. So your Experian credit report, your Equifax credit report, and your TransUnion credit report, these are much more important than worrying about having a perfect score with any of those credit companies. So what I mean and what's key is that with your credit reports, you want to ensure that there's no informational errors. So you want your name, date of birth, and address under every single account on your credit reports to be consistent every single time. You don't want any typos. You don't want any inconsistencies. So you have to access all 3 reports and check this. And if there are errors, fix it immediately. If you check your reports and find that there is an error, if you check your reports and find that there's a negative marker is something like a CCJ or a default or a late payment, you need to push for an early removal. Again, one thing that I did was add a notice of correction, and I found success that way. But nowadays, there's much better ways to tackle more stubborn negative markers.